And we're back here in the fourth quarter. Sorry again, my internet has been causing me all sorts of problems here this morning, but we're back. Fourth quarter. Canada did make a 3 there to start off this quarter, so they're now down by only 9. So again, Canada, as you mentioned, have to have a quick start. That 3 might be a good omen to that. As Diaz got his third foul there for Spain. So Canada will keep possession. Right now it looks like Barrett, SGA, Brooks. I want to say it's Powell, and it looks like it is Powell, and Dort are the starting lineup. But Dort's only got one more foul before he fouls because I believe FIBA used the 5 foul rule as SGA shoots and misses, but they're going to call the foul on the white shirt. So that's 3 shots for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Well, that's a start.
Garuba there takes the foul. It's his second. Only his second. Be surprisingly, Cage, I haven't seen a Herman Gomez brother. I'm not sure if I'm looking at one and just can't tell that was him, but I have not seen one yet as SGA makes number 1. Yeah, they're keeping out Aldama. They have not subbed in either Juancho or Willie yet. But I do want to mention Kelly Olynyk's back on the bench for Dwight Powell, which has been I'll say, welcome switch here for Canada as Dwight Powell's been great here. And yes, both Hernan Gomez brothers right now are on the bench for Spain. As SGA now with this free throw will miss, so he does not get 20 as they're going to call a foul on Dylan Brooks as down went Aldama. They're calling for a technical here. We'll see if they call it a tech there against Dylan Brooks.
He's already got an unsportsmanlike foul.
So if he gets a second, that will be an automatic ejection, I believe. As the referees are going to talk about it. This is where you wish you had a challenge or a way to make the referees review it here.
I think Canada does have a challenge.
Well, I think they're going to review it anyway, as the referees review, which I think they should, because I'm not this might absolve Brooks, because I think they're going to call it a foul anyway, but we'll see if they just call it a team foul or if they just call what they call it here. Because I don't know, Katie, because it just looks like Dylan Brooks tried to swap the ball away, and Aldama was in kind of, I guess, in the way because it doesn't look it doesn't look intentional. It's very little contact as well, in my opinion, because he caught him with the tricep. He didn't even catch him with a forearm or like the elbow. He caught him with like his tricep or bicep. Like he caught him with like very high up. So like you could definitely tell it's not intentional. Cause he didn't catch him with an elbow or like the forearm coming down like a sledgehammer. What do you think, Kajan?
I guess it's just the motion of it because he was trying to. Well, he missed at the ball.
He's aiming for the ball.
He missed at the ball, but he's like you see from this replay, he's clearly aiming for the ball.
He's trying to whack it because, again, as we talked about, the Canadians are not even trying to out-rebound this Spanish team. They're just trying to whack the ball to other Canadian players. So we'll see if the referees agree with us, Kajan. And they're going to call no foul, I'm going to say. So I think they are going to call it just coincidental. I was hoping they were going to review it so they could see that because Aldama obviously sold it like he got, clubbed in the face. But I would say that's not intentional, as Dylan Brooks didn't even really notice Aldama was below him. But it will be Spain ball, of course, because of the missed free throw there from Canada. SGA now stuck at 19 points.
So no foul on Dylan Brooks?
No foul on Dylan Brooks. Which is the right call, in my opinion. I think you agree with me on that. That's the right call.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, Sergio gonna need 4 glasses of water after this.
Yeah, he almost gives me the passion of Doug Collins, the former Bulls head coach. I think everyone who definitely listens to this has definitely seen the Last Dance documentary. And if you haven't, I will say the Last Dance documentary shows that Doug Collins, former Bulls head coach, Michael Jordan's first Bulls head coach, or I guess second Bulls head coach, I believe actually, that Doug Collins used to sweat like disgusting amounts when he was with the Chicago Bulls. Like he would like profusely sweat when he was the head coach.
Oh man, did they call that a jump ball?
I believe so. So Spain ball.
Oh, and that's fortunate for Dort because if they had called a foul on that, that would have been his fifth.
Fifth and final. And I believe I know Sergio Scariolo, the head coach of Spain, kept trying to call it that. And again, I think SGA might have gotten away with a little reach in there. As now Canada goes into their horn set. RJ drives in, kicks out to Brooks. Brooks holds up, passed around the horn. RJ pulls it, and it doesn't go, and possession will go the other way. And they're going to call a travel against Spain, so the ball will go the other way. I'm not even going to say Canada's getting these stops, but they are getting advantageous chances here. We'll see if they can keep them advantageous, Kajan. Because they have not been really able to capitalize. But Canada, again, could really use some more chunks out of this lead. Brooks now for three, rattles it in. Dylan Brooks. We can't even make fun of him now, Cage. He's got 17 points.
Yo, he came to play. Canada's finest.
I've never seen him play like this before, Cajun. I've never seen him play like this before. This is my first time ever seeing Dylan Brooks play like actually well.
Hey man, Dylan Brooks, man, all defensive team.
And he stole it away. No, not saying his defensive acumen hasn't been great. He gets a steal there. SGA to Barrett 4-3, no good. Possession is gonna go to Spain, I believe. Might have a conference here between the officials. We'll see if they do have a little bit of a corroboration. And again, Cajun, I don't think we've seen a Hernan Gomez brother yet. You gotta wonder if Juancho and or Willie are gonna check back in here soon.
Well, I guess for Juancho, he hasn't been very. He's been effective at times, but it's been Willie who has really killed him on. It has really given Canada all sorts of fits.
They miss another layup, rebounded by Powell. Up now for RJ. RJ legs up and out, passed out. Dort for three, no good, and they can't get the rebound again. So I'm not going to say Canada settling off the offensive there by Lou Dort, who ended up shooting the three, but Spain now, they show up the graphic, which always worries you. They haven't scored for about 3 minutes and 45 seconds, almost 4 minutes now. They have gone scoreless here in this fourth quarter, and I believe that even dates back a little bit to the third quarter. As they shoot that long three, no good. They rebound it, though, so they get a second chance. Driving up and good, and Spain finally get themselves on the board, and guess who it is? It's Santiago Aldama. Dylan Brooks laid up, or shot up, misses. Powell can't rebound it. Brooks can't rebound it. Taken now by Dort. Lou Dort going in, and they're going to call a block there against Aldama. Again, every time you see Dort go, Cage, you get a little worried that they could call that a charge and send his night send Lou Dort for an early shower, but they rightly call it a block on Aldama. So now 2 shots for Lou Dort.
This game's going right down to the wire, and you can't really ask for a better game than this.
I mean, yes, you can, Cage, and you can ask for Canada to be absolutely blowing out Spain. But anyway, I won't argue with you. I won't. We won't argue the semantics as Dort misses
I
number
mean,
one.
as a Team Canada fan, not necessarily. As Dort misses the first, you probably are ahead of me.
I am a little bit. And Dort
But
misses number two. Yeah, Dort's only got 3 points today. He had 17 against Brazil. So offensively, Dort's not necessarily been where he was at just a few days ago, but defensively, he's still been there.
mm-hmm.
And they're going to call the reach there on Canada.
Now 5:21 to go. Got to find some sort of way.
Dort just checked out too, by the way. And I want to mention here before we continue, Cajun, that RJ has picked up his 4th foul of the night.
So RJ got to be careful.
I want to mention, and I believe that is Juancho Hernangomez is now in. As Spain lay it up and not in, they were looking for another foul call, as now Canada will come the other way. Down now only by 6. Dylan Brooks now. Back pass for Olynyk. Olynyk for 3, no good, and they can't again get the rebound. So the hourglass is a little over halfway done here in the 4th quarter. And Canada is still struggling. As up, and they're going to call a foul there on the Aldama attempt. And that's it, Jim, who I haven't seen a whole lot of. Not even sure what league he's in, Cajun. You probably know a lot more about EGM than I do. But you can give us the inside scoop on a lesser use case, and he actually just checked out with his 2nd foul. But now back to the line we'll go. And actually, no, that's Willie Hernangomez, who misses number 1.
And he's giving Canada fits in the time that he's been on the floor.
As he's been all game, as you mentioned, he's been giving Canada trouble. And he makes number 2, does Willie Hernangomez. So Canada's got to get something going offensively, but again, they got to get something going defensively too. It's kind of that double-edged sword. They got to get some stops and they got to get some makes. As Dylan Brooks now up and in for Dylan Brooks.
He came to play.
He's got 19. He's kind of taken over that Lou Dort role that Lou Dort had in the last game against Brazil.
Yep.
As again, Lou Dort has only got 3 and he is checked out. Hernangomez up, and they're going to call it a foul against Canada? I'm not even sure who got it. Or did they call it a charge against Hernangomez? I couldn't really tell there.
It might have been a foul on Brooks.
I think it was a foul on Canada. I couldn't tell why everyone kind of moving the other direction, but it is a foul on Dylan Brooks. That's his 4th of the game. So only he has no more fouls to give before he's done for the night. So that's now Lou Dort's got 4. Dylan Brooks has got 4. RJ Barrett's got 4. As the first one's a make for Willie Hernangomez. Gotta wonder if Juancho will come in here in the last 4 minutes of this game, but Spain again is slightly pulling away here with 22 points in favor of Willie Hernangomez. And add one more to it with a second free throw.
9 of 10 from the free throw line.
Spain actually did struggle at the free throw line against Latvia. They have not tonight. As SGA steps back, no good. Ball bounced up, though. Rebounded by SGA. SGA now into the corner for three. It's good for Canada. Back down now only by 4. And that's Nikhil Alexander-Walker, his first 3 of the night, only his 5th point of the day. And again, Canada, Kajan, need to stop.
Big time.
They almost got one there. And of course, now my stream's going to tell me, give me a second to buffer. They shoot the 3, Kajan, and they miss it. So Canada's got a chance here to cut into this lead again. Brooks, though, loses it. He's played so well. And that giveaway is costly for Canada. Passed around. That 3, no good. Dylan Brooks rebounds it, and Canada again with a chance here to go. And I think they might call that a block there against Spain as SGA goes down. And it will be a foul against Spain. And I believe that is Rudy Fernandez getting his 3rd foul, and it is, as he went for the reach. So Canada, again, really need to get a basket here, or at least get some points here. If it's free throws, if it's a 3, if it's a 2, doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Passed into Dylan Brooks. Brooks for Olynyk. For Barrett off the screen, who lost possession, and it goes the other way. Canada struggled in clutch time against Brazil. And they're struggling here against Spain as Aldama checks back in. So now they got Aldama and Hernan Gomez, the Willie variety, on the floor. Canada need at least one more stop here to get this lead manageable, at least within one possession. That pass, kick ball, I believe it'll be off Canada, so possession will stay with Spain. That ball up, and it's missed there by Spain. So again, Canada get another stop.
Their defense has really been good. Has really been good for the most part in this 4th quarter.
SGA now up and in, and it's an and 1 for the Oklahoma City Thunder point guard.
And man, was that needed. Was that needed indeed. And 151 left. 2-point game. I'm pretty sure you're ahead of me right now, Spencer.
Well, say SGA made the free throw. They're now down by only 1 right now are the Canadians. So Canada's got to keep playing smothering defense here with 1:40 left in this game. Passed in, and they're going to call the foul against Barrett. As Willie Hernan Gomez will go back to the line.
And is that RJ's 5th?
That is RJ's 5th. So now he's down for the last minute and a half of this game.
It was a good foul, though. Make him earn it at the line because the way this was going, the way this would have gone, Hernan Gomez would have gotten an easy 2 there. So you never want to see RJ Barrett. You never want to see RJ Barrett on the bench late in a game as Lou Dort checks in on the bench having fouled out. But if it means stopping an easy layup, so be it.
You just hope it doesn't cost Canada in the end not having RJ on the floor.
I mean, the way Brooks is playing, that might not be a bad thing.
He makes number one. And he makes number two. So Spain now up by 3 with a minute and a half left in this fourth and potentially final quarter. As Hernan Gomez will now check out with 25 and 6, 25.6 rebounds.
And I think this is more or less offense defense substitution for Team Spain.
Definitely seems to be that way. SGA now kind of gets the push screen there from Brooks. Brooks now 4-3 ties the game. Dylan Brooks.
My goodness. His name is Dylan Brooks. I'm not even going to say Dillion because this man has, if he continues playing like this,
Canada stole it away, but they're going to call a push-off foul there, I believe, against Brooks, but I mean, it's his fifth.
No, it isn't. He stepped out of bounds.
Oh, they're saying he stepped out of bounds, which, again, is even better for Canada. I couldn't tell if Brooks was calling to the bench for a sub or if he was calling to the guys to go to the other end of the floor.
And arguably, looking at that play, you could have argued that should have been Brooks' fifth foul. But Spain, because they challenged this, they used up their challenge early in this game, can't use it now.
So now they get a chance here to take a lead they haven't been able to get for so long. They got so close in the third quarter. SGA, step back, bang! Deep 2 puts Canada up by 2. He's got 25 on the night, and Canada inch a little bit closer, Cajun, to the quarterfinals. I'll be honest, Cajun. I'm a pessimist. I watch sports pessimistically. I just do. Can't explain it. When I watch sports, I always think my team's going to lose. Doesn't matter what sport it is. I have hope, but I always think they're going to lose. I thought Canada, Cajun, going into this fourth quarter, were dead and buried. Cajun, I thought the Canadians were dead and buried. SGA puts Canada up by 2 with 40 seconds left, and there's a little bit of life, Cajun. Not a whole lot of life. They still got to make a couple more stops, but there's some life.
And I mentioned this at the very beginning of the quarter, or at the end of the third quarter. Spain had a double-digit lead against Latvia and blew it.
They've made one shot this fourth quarter. Spain is made 1-2. They're 0 for 4 from 3. They're 1 for 5 from 2, and they're 5 for 6 from the free throw line.
7 points, I believe, in the fourth quarter.
They've really struggled to get the offense going in this fourth and final quarter. I'm not sure what quirk that is with Spain, but they've been really struggling the last 2 games.
And this is where not having Ricky Rubio hurts. Because you can at least get into your sets more often and not eat up clock and get a good shot off. And get a good possession offensively off.
And I will quickly say, Cajun, right now the fourth quarter is 21-7 in favor of Canada, which is why they're up now by 2. I also want to mention here that Google is well ahead of me, so I'm going to put it down so I don't look at it and get a little too excited as Canada almost steal it there again. That's Dylan Brooks getting his hand in the cookie jar. Spain driving, pass into the middle, stolen away, and Lou Dort takes it away. Lou Dort back on the floor for his defense. SGA now brings it up the floor. SGA taking his time, and they're going to foul the first team All-NBAer with 21 seconds left here in the game.
What a turn of events. It looked like you were right. You were right, Spencer. It looked like Canada was dead in the water heading into the fourth quarter.
And now SGA has a chance to put Canada up.
But they showed
He
up on
makes number one.
but they showed up on both ends of the floor. SGA come SGA coming up clutch late, but the MVP of this game, dare I say it, has to be Dylan Brooks.
I want to say, though, SGA makes number two, Cajun. Canada up by 4, 21 seconds left. Spain's got to make a basket quick, then either get a steal or a foul to keep this game at least with a chance for the Spanish, because this game with 21 seconds left looks like it's falling the way of the red shirts. Not saying it will yet, because there's still 21 seconds. That's lots of time. But there, are no fouls to give on either side. So you foul, you're going to the line for both sides.
Yep.
And now, Cajun, this is where you wonder. Now, I don't think this early, but you got to wonder. Does Canada intentionally foul? There's always that argument. Normally it's by 3, but at this point with 4, do you foul between 12 and 5 seconds, or do you let your team play defense? I personally elect to play defense. That's my style. But I also know lots of coaches, including Roy Williams, who won a national championship at Chapel Hill with North Carolina, the Tar Heels, believed in fouling. So,
and here's the reason why. Spain's only scored 7 points in this fourth quarter. Why are you giving them 3 points?
One basket from open play. I agree with you. No, I'm just giving up the point, Cage. I promise. I'm not electing to try to say that I agree, because I personally believe in just playing defense.
Now, in some situations, I would agree with intentionally fouling, but Spain struggled to score. Don't give them a lifeline.
Don't throw them the buoy there, Cajun. Just let them drown.
Yeah.
And now Spain trying to drive in on Dort, up and in, so they do get a basket here with 16 seconds left on the clock. So this is again where you got to get worried if you're a Team Canada fan. They got to get the ball inbounded.
Yep. Don't they have timeouts though?
I'm not exactly sure. And they're waiting here for the substitutions by Spain. Spain's really trying to get those subs on the floor. The refs are really sending them away. And on the timeout is taken, I believe, by Canada.
And I'm going to be honest, if Dort didn't have 4 fouls, that would have been a stop.
You definitely would have thought so, Cajun. Poor Lou Dort, kind of handcuffed. So was Dylan Brooks. RJ Barrett was until he got his 5th foul about a minute and a half ago, about a minute 15 ago. But with 15.9 left in the fourth quarter, I said 16 seconds. It's basically 16 seconds. Canada's going to get the ball inbound, Cajun. They got to get the ball inbounded. This ball cannot touch a white shirt's hand. As long as it hits a Canadian and stays in play, Canada's got a chance to ice this game a little bit more. Because eventually Spain's either going to get a stop or Canada's going to miss a free throw. Or get a steal, whatever I guess comes first. But the steal right now is what Canada's got to worry about. The free throws will come, if they don't foul, which they have to foul, it'll come. Yeah, but you can't. You cannot let this ball get stolen.
Yep.
As the inbound is in the Canadian end. It is Olynyk putting it in, the probably oldest Canadian, at least the most seasoned Canadian. SGA does get it. SGA is going to bring it up the floor. They try to poke it away, and they will bring the foul there. Only about 3 seconds have trimmed off the clock. 13 seconds exactly are left in the fourth quarter now as SGA goes back to the line.
Or was that a very long 3 seconds?
I'll be honest, Cajun, I'm kind of with you there, but I'm also kind of thinking I can't tell if either it's the Sportsnet clock or the in-house clock, or if it's maybe because of how long it took Olynyk to get the ball in. I'm not exactly sure, but I would agree with you that definitely did not feel like 2.9 seconds that SGA had that ball in his possession.
I was like, with all that
But
going on?
no, it is 13 on their clock, and SGA makes number 1. I think that's
Clock.
RJ right now on the bench, can't watch. Yeah, it's I believe that's RJ. I can't really tell who that is. Somebody's got their shirt over their eyes,
I
Cage,
think
and
that
I'm
might be
almost at that
Melvin
point.
Edgem. That might be Melvin Edgem.
Well, whoever it was, Cage, and they were not able to look. Thank goodness we are. We have to, as SGA makes both.
Clockwork, baby, clockwork.
Now Canada just gotta let them chew up clock. Do not let them get that quick basket because they're gonna shoot the 3. They do. It's good. Aldama makes it, but they get it into SGA, and they will call the foul against Spain with 4.5 left. Now we've talked about important. I don't think we've even talked about important free throws yet. As every free throw gets more and more important, Cajun. I think this will be the end of it. This is the most important free throws that SGA are going to shoot. Is going to shoot this tournament. At least at this point of the tournament, this is the most important free throws he's taken. Because with Spain making that last 3, even with 4.5 seconds left, you got to worry that Aldama is going to take that shot again. SGA makes number 1. Maybe, again, Cajun, I don't know if Spain's going to timeout. If they don't, intentional miss might be in the cards.
They don't.
Intentional miss might be in the cards. Chew up that last 45 seconds. Don't let them set up. But again, if you intentionally miss and they get down the floor, you give them a free chance to score. He makes the second. They're back up by 3. Spain's got to get it inbound and got to get a 3 away. They inbound it. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Aldama from ever, no good, and Canada are going to the quarterfinals. Too close for comfort. Too close to call. But Canada on to the quarterfinals of the World Cup.
And qualifying for Paris next year.
That is right. With that, they are now one of the top 2. They are the second top North American team, actually, with that win, Cage, and they jump Latvia. I think technically, depending on the way they're going to seed these, that means Canada is the number 1 seed of the North American teams. Because, well, actually, wait. No, pardon me. I believe even with that Lithuanian win, that they would still be below the Americans. I'd have to check here the standings. No, because the Lithuanians won. So they're 5-0. So Lithuania outdid the Americans. So I'm not sure between Canada and America who would take that spot. Because technically, Cajun, with that 3-point win, Canada has 1 more point in differential over the Americans. 110 to 109. And they're both 4-1. So I don't know, maybe if Canada would qualify as the number 1 team out of North America, because again, it was the top 2 North American teams qualify for the Olympics in this World Cup. Canada and the U.S. are the only 2 North American teams to make it out of the second stage. So they both obviously qualify out of North America. But now it's who gets first. Is it whoever goes farther, or is it whoever was higher at this stage? You gotta wonder, Cajun. But without that speculation of what the qualifications will look like,
further at this point.
Well, if it is, then I guess Canada's got some work to do here. As you got to expect the Americans are looking at a gold medal or bust, even with that loss to Lithuania earlier today.
But far from that right now. Canada has qualified for the Olympics. It has been so long since we've gone to say that.
And I do quickly want to say that it makes officially Canada qualify as the number 1 team in the division. But I think that might be a bittersweet feeling as they got to take on Luka Doncic and the Slovenians in the next round.
Honestly, I like it. You got to play good teams from here on out. And they just played one of arguably their toughest test.
And the reigning champions, the reigning World Cup champions, Spain.
And you mentioned this before during the Brazil game. I believe it was Argentina, France, Spain, and Australia the final four teams at the 2019 FIBA World Cup, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And none
I'll
of
check
them
in a second. I'm checking the Olympics first. But anyway, continue.
and none of them are in the quarterfinals.
None of them. None of them made it that far. And I believe you're right because I believe I said that France was already out, that Australia was already out,
Argentina didn't even qualify for the FIBA
and
World Cup.
Argentina wasn't even here. So it was Spain were the last team to be left of last year's qualifiers or last year's finalists, if you will. Semifinal. I'll say semifinalists because they all had to play a semifinal. And now they're all out. So we'll have a new bronze medalist, fourth place, second place silver medalist, and gold medalist, and World Cup winner. We will have a completely different set of semifinalists here at the 2023 World Cup, which is rather interesting, Kajan, if you think about it, because that could give Canada a chance for the first time in a while to get themselves near a podium.
Yeah. They are going to have a tough test against Slovenia, but I would argue if they get past, but I would argue, considering what they had to go through to get through Spain, I think they're battle tested.
Well, in that 27-12 fourth quarter, I think proves it. That's the second straight big lead that Spain's blown. One to Latvia, one to Canada. But regardless of that, Kajan, with those big blown leads, it's shown that Canada and Latvia can come back down big.
Yep.
And are not scared to play you if that means they got to be down big. And just looking at the Olympic qualifiers here, Kajan, Canada has not been to the Olympics since it looks like
Sydney?
2000. Sydney, Australia. You're right. 2000. So 24 years in the making when they step foot in Paris, in France. They will be at their first Olympics in what feels like in a full generation, just about, Cajun. Since you were a child, before I was born.
Oh man, so this is gonna be the first time you see them in the Olympics in your lifetime.
In my
and
life.
And thanks for making me feel old. As
You're
if
welcome. I thought I'd sprinkle that in there for you. But anyway, I
no.
also will I will mention, Cajun, Canada's only ever placed once at the Olympics. They got silver back in 1936. Were you alive then, Cajun? That one was in Berlin. That was the Berlin
I don't even
36
know if
Summer
my
Olympics.
grandma was alive back then.
That was the 36 Olympics. They then lost the bronze medal game twice in 76 and 84. They withdrew from the Moscow Olympics at then Soviet Union in 1980, but they withdrew, obviously, I assume, because of the Soviet Union in 1980. But they were fourth in 76. They were fourth in 84. So they've only ever medaled once at the Olympics, and that was over almost 100 years ago. So this Canadian team has a chance to make history. And I want to mention here at the World Cup, the highest Canada's ever gotten at the FIBA World Cup, formerly World Championship, is sixth. Canada has topped out at sixth. They had it twice in 1978 and 1982. You can say a golden generation with their fourth place at the Olympics as well in that era. But the highest they've ever placed is sixth. They have a chance to eclipse that as well. Now, again, they still got to beat Slovenia. There's still some heavy lifting got to be done here by this Canadian team. But the reason why I'm saying all of this, all these numbers, all these things about qualification and where they've placed in their best places, is because I believe, as I said with my rather outlandish prediction, but my prediction of Canada blowing out Spain, which obviously they didn't. But anyway, that in my opinion, this Canadian team can do something special. That's why I'm saying all these places. That's why I'm giving you all these numbers to kind of just sit in your brain and stew on, with sixth at the World Cup / World Championships, only medaled once at the Olympics, have made 3 medal games at the Olympics, 2 bronze medal and 1 gold medal, but have never done, recently at least, have done well at these tournaments. The last time they were a top 10 finish at the World Championship / World Cup was in 1994.
Wow.
So that was when they were 7th. They were 12th in 98, 13th in 2002, didn't qualify in 06, didn't qualify in 2014, were 22nd in 2010, and 21st in 2019. So this Canadian team has struggled at this tournament. But this year, I'm not saying is the year. I'm not no Leaf fan, but this year might be a little bit different because
It
this team
already
is
is different.
supremely talented and have a chance to do something that this Canadian program, Canada as a country has never really been able to do, and that's do really well at the World Cup and then do really well at the Olympics, which again they officially qualified for with that win over Spain.
And I gotta go, and I have to go through the stat line here just for a quick second. RJ Barrett, even though he fouled out, a much better game.
Much better
16,
game.
16 points. Shea Gilgis Alexander, 14 of 16 from the line. 7 assists. 30 points. A 30 piece for No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I was going to say Blank's finest, but I'm not going to do it. For your sake, I won't. Lou Dort had a rough game.
But defensively, he was there.
Defensively, he definitely was there. I got to shout out Dylan Brooks.
Here we go. No more Dylan Brooks slander on this show.
You can't slander him anymore. Because he hit some big shots down the stretch and in the fourth quarter. He arguably kept them in it until Shea took over. And he hit that big three to tie the game up at 80 before SGA scored the last 8 points of the game. So to all you Dylan Brooks naysayers out there, Saka's finest is back in the building, baby.
Whatever that means to you. I'm not sure if there was such thing as a Saga finest. No offense to Mrs. Saga, by the way.
RJ Barrett's from there.
Oh, RJ Barrett's a good player. He might be Miss Saga's finest.
After this game, so is Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks is no longer going to make fun of on this show. I'm not entering Miss Saga's finest yet. I want to see it. I want to see it against Slovenia. If he can do a job on Luka Doncic, then Kajan, then I will say Miss Saga's finest. But until that moment,
well then,
he's got something to prove to me. I want to see it against Slovenia.
He arguably was the second biggest reason why Canada moved on to the quarters and now qualified for the Paris Olympics, which is kind of like surreal to say given their futility at these events.
Kajan, I can't even. I'll be honest here, and this is more me than anything else. I think he was the biggest reason, and here's why. Because SGA had the most points, obviously, but that's expected. You expect SGA to play well. If SGA does not play well, then Canada is not going to win. That's the reality. Without Jamal Murray, if SGA does not play well, Canada is not going to win. So SGA has to play well. RJ Barrett should play well. Doesn't have to, but should. And then the third spot is between Lou Dort, Kelly Olynyk, now Dylan Brooks, and maybe Dwight Powell, if you want to include him in that tier. But it's between in my opinion more Dort, Brooks, and Olynyk to see who's the third wheel of this Canadian offense behind Barrett and SGA. And tonight it was Brooks, and it was Brooks in a big way. Dylan Brooks had over 20 points, second leading scorer on the Canadians. He was big throughout the entire game, hit the three to tie it, I believe, if my brain's telling me correctly.
He tied the game at 80.
So, Dylan Brooks was big for Canada, was big. Kelly Olynyk didn't have a great game, which happens, but was big.
Yep.
So I think he was the biggest reason why Canada wins because, again, without Dylan Brooks playing that well, Canada is not here. If Dylan Brooks does not drop 22, if Dylan Brooks drops 10, then Canada's getting blown out. Because Lou Dort was not there tonight offensively, which, again, we've talked about. That Lou Dort offensively is sporadic. He'll have games of 17, 20, 22, and then he'll have games of 3 like he did tonight.
Yep.
So you got to play you got to deal with that inconsistent offense with Lou Dort. But again, he plays great defense, as well as Dylan Brooks. So if you can get one of those two defensive stoppers to drop more than 10, closer to 15, and if he hits 20, you're just that's just money in the bank if he hits 20. Right? So I mean, it's just a great performance by Canada in the end. And we did complain a lot throughout this game because, again, you can't go down that big this early. You know? But they showed resilience. They showed some heart and desire and some passion and came back and won the fourth quarter big and won the game. And now they're off to the Olympics in 2024 next year. They're off this quarterfinals against Slovenia in 2 days' time, I believe, which we will bring to you again. Hopefully my Wi-Fi is fixed by that point, but we will bring you that.
Yep.
And we'll see how far this Canadian team can go, Kajan. Final thoughts before we go. Cage, Canada quarterfinals, Canada going to the Olympics. Big win over Spain by 3, 88-85. Great to finally see a win here for the Canadians.
Honestly, it's about time. It's about time. And we were talking about this before, like we were talking about this at halftime, that the biggest problem against Brazil was their offense. This time around, heading into the second half, it was their defense. And for 3 quarters, that was the case. Canada didn't have an answer for Spain on the defensive end. But then all of a sudden they did. And I don't know if it had if Ricky Rubio's absence had anything to do with Spain's offense grinding to a halt in that fourth quarter. It was like that against Latvia. It was like that against Canada, but yeah, I give them credit. They made shots difficult. Those shots that were going in before weren't. The ball movement all of a sudden became grinded to a halt, and it became late clock situations. And on the offensive side, SGA is going to get his. He's that type of guy. But in order to win a game like this, you got to have somebody that you don't expect will step up in such a big way. And Dylan Brooks was that guy. RJ Barrett set the tone early. And you could say a lot of stuff offensively, as my dog out here trying to be my security guard. Shout out to you, Loki. But what it all comes down to is, and we said this before, discipline, defense, rebounding. Fourth quarter, Canada had all that working for them, and it led to a win. And in a time where Canadian national sports has been in turmoil, more or less so Canada soccer, this is a welcome sight. This is what Canada as a nation needed. Let's just ride it, and let's just ride the wave from here on out.
And they're going to need it against Slovenia in just a few days' time when they take on the second place team from Group K, while Latvia take on Germany. And I'm looking at some other results that have officially come in. It will mean Lithuania play Puerto Rico, they will play Italy, while Serbia will play the United States. So U.S. also do not have an easy tie in their quarterfinal because of them coming second. So they have to play the first place team of Group I, which will be Serbia.
I wonder what happens in the semis then. Like who plays who in the semis?
It's going to get interesting, Kajan. But regardless of that, let's get through the quarters first, Kajan. Let's look at the semis once Canada and Slovenia touch the floor in, I'll say Indonesia, but either in Indonesia, the Philippines, or Japan, where this World Cup is hosted. But that'll be it here for us. For Canada versus Spain, Canada win 88-85 for Cajun Theory with Danny Castle. I'm Spencer Byers. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back for our next episode of Polar Opposites, which will be Wednesday or Thursday. But before that, Canada versus Slovenia will be here And we'll be breaking it down live to post here on the Outrage.